Welcome back to the channel. We've got a few vlogs coming in. And when I say a few, I mean a lot. We had a day at the wind tunnel, partially for information. Well, there's a few different reasons we went to the wind tunnel. And I think for this vlog, I'll run you through something that was very new for me, kind of a next step in my career post-professional cycling, and that was my first ever wind tunnel session where someone entrusted me with the whole session, start to finish, the plan, the format, the logistics, liaising with the tunnel, finances, and yeah, it was my session, and I was very nervous. My father came along and he laughed at me because he said he'd never seen me more organised. My whole racing career, I used to be quite bad at leaving things to the last minute, but there I was at 6:28 waiting outside the gate, Dad to arrive in the van and us head up to Silverstone. So there's a huge amount of videos coming. I think you're going to enjoy them. Some of them are super fun, some of them are really informative. There's some real surprising results came of it, but this video here is my first ever client session. Jonny Allen is a guy I've been coaching for over a year now. He's a very quick time trialist, 48-minute man on a 25, 18-minute man on a 10. He's got some big goals this year, and wind tunnel was the next natural step for him. So went to the tunnel, we had a 2-hour session. I'm going to run you through it today. There's not a lot of talking from me in this video because I was working, but we got a bit of interaction from behind the scenes, what we're doing, what we're talking about. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. It was a very nerve-wracking experience for myself, but I was very lucky with the people that I had around me. Obviously my dad came, James Millard came, who's another coach at Thighs Club, Martin Eaton, who's the S&C coach at Thighs Club, who had a huge amount of input which went way above and beyond what I thought possible. It was really quite insightful. Michael Hutchinson was in the tunnel after the day, and I'm very grateful to Hutch because he just decided to rock up early and really helped me get through my first session and get through it well. Wind tunnels are the age old. I've done so much time in there, and as always, you leave with more questions than you enter the tunnel with, and that was the case with Jonny. Yeah, so we're going to run you through it, and at the end we'll talk about what we found, what we didn't find, and well, I guess what happens next. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. So just the last piece of the puzzle before we go. It's important for a tunnel session to have a good plan. And this is my plan for Jonny. We've got 2 hours, 2 till 4 p.m. With what we're doing, I figured just one speed was necessary with what we're doing with the time constraints we have. So we're doing one speed, 55 kilometers an hour, because that's where the magic happens really for Jonny. That's what he's pushing to time trial at. And it's the yaw angles that are more important for us than range of speeds. So 0, 4 and 7 degrees yaw. Yaw is the wind's coming directly in front. 0 degree yaw is when you're facing the wind. 4 degrees is there, 7 degrees is there. So you're just sort of moving Jonny in different patterns. It's a 30-second test each time. I've allocated approximately 40 minutes for the helmet, so we're going to rattle through these. So the Sweet Protection Redeemer, Specialized TT5 with the balaclava. Now, depending on how it goes on me in the morning, whether we test it without the balaclava. Pop Tempor, which is a reliable, good helmet. The Met Drone, another good one. Maybe the Endura, depending on how it goes in the morning on me. The Casque Mistral, which is Jonny's baseline helmet. So we will actually do these two first. So we'll start with just Jonny's setup as of right now, then put the Aero visor on, then rattle through these. The HJC, because again, another reliable one. And then at the end, depending on how the other ones go, the Specialized sort of 2015 S-Works helmet without a visor, because that is how it's made to be. Afterwards, we work on positional work, and the reason we don't do positional work first is once the helmets are done, they are done, and we can park it and move on. The positional work is where more questions get thrown up. We could go through all this, find something at the end, and then have to lean into it more and then start going. So we're going to go up, we're going to go down, and then we're going to look at tilt as well, and I'm going to get Jonny's input as well. Perhaps reach, depending on how he looks. So yeah, like I said, it's a little bit looser. Even when I talk about this, I know it's coming across much looser. And if we're not careful, we could spend 2 hours doing positional stuff and never get onto the helmets. And I see helmets as an easy win. We're not doing suits. We're not doing overshoes. Suits require a bit more of a range of speeds as well as yaw angles, which then exponentially increases the amount of time needed. And we know suits, I know what's fast, what's not fast on me, and what they're custom made off the peg, so we're going to use that piece of information. So it comes down to priorities, and these are where we see our priorities. Helmets, there's some easy wins, hopefully, and positional stuff is where there is the really big wins. So it's important to have a plan. What we don't want is any stop and thinking time, and that happens right at the end if we have time left over. We're going to rattle through this, not really quickly look at which helmet was fastest by the end of this, and then use that for the rest of this. And that is also why we do it in that order, because we want to change position based on helmet. If you had all the time in the world, you'd be changing positions and helmets, and as you can see, it's kind of like a web of things that you end up testing that just exponentially explode. So that's the last piece of the puzzle before we get going to the wind tunnel. Saddle height as well, because there can be some big wins on saddle height, especially dropping it down. So yeah, that's also something we potentially look at as the add-ons at the end if there is time.
We're here at the SSE wind tunnel. I'm here with Jonny, and we're gonna try and make him faster. He's a time trialist, wants to take on the Scottish Aero record, and First Club coach him. So this is all part of the whole go faster process, and this is the shit I really love doing, just making other people go faster. The good thing about Jonny's running the Aero coach Ascalons. Good thing about these, they're real adjustable for moving forwards and backwards quickly, so we can do reach, length very easily. Height involves stack changes, which Jonny's working on right now, and we are going in 33 minutes.
Closing stages of Jonny's test. Martin, Mr. S&C, has found posterior chain stuff. Unfortunately for Jonny, it means some very
boring S&C.
Boring S&C. The Adrian Master said everyone loves to lift heavy weights and stuff that looks good, but no, the real wins are in the planks.
The planks, the lying on a hockey ball.
Oh. Well, at least he gets to lie down.
Yeah.
Jonny's a very benign rider. We've gone through a lot of iterations and we're struggling a little bit, but going lower seems to be finally doing something. Helmets were all pretty quick on Jonny. The Specialised and the POC Tempo were the quickest, so Jonny's choice was to stick with the Specialised. And yeah, now we're 4 centimetres lower at the front. We might, depending on time, play with elbow width. Then we are going to stick a bladder down the front, see what that does. But this is what we're looking at. So Jonny can see that on the floor there, what we're seeing here. So you've got the outline, this is what you fit in between, obviously unless you change in position. You got it on the front, side on and top down view. I'm generally looking at shoulders and back, bum, where my head is, and arms, and then here, this is real-time CDA, which moves around a lot, and it's not to be taken as a real CDA because every test I've done is different. We're just looking to reduce it on any given day. Your angle, so we're doing 0, 4 and 7 degrees at 55k an hour. Wind speed, drag, I think that, yeah, I've never really looked at this number. Wheel speed, cadence, so try and keep that consistent across all the tests. How much power, because that can be adjusted. Your turntable's just moved 7 degrees, and then here is the test going on, so the countdown from 30
and this is the recording of it to get the average results. So next up, yeah, like I said, we're going to do elbows. Well, we'll see how this comes out and then make a decision, but elbow width perhaps, bladder. Yeah, very lucky Michael Hutchinson, who's done as many wind tunnel tests in the room over there as I have here, is helping me out with my first one as well. So, right, here we go. You get out of it.
We can do a phone call, Zoom, whatever we want to do. Yeah.
Great, we won't hold you up anymore.
Cheers.
Thanks, Jonny.
That was wicked.
That was good fun.
Awesome.
So we found a lot at the end.
Yeah, awesome. It's come back.
Yeah. Cool.
Cheers, guys. All right.
Cheers, Jonny.
See you later. Scary bit.
For me, the biggest takeaway actually was Martin's input. Just being able to look at Jonny's back, bit of rocking, movement, and because Jonny's quite a I'm trying not to say bender. Where does his back bend? He's a real lower back bender.
He's got kind of his lumbar spine, thoracic spine. There's a lot of movement there, so you're looking at strengthening those positions. Obviously, in cycling, your power comes from the lower body.
Yeah.
And then positioning is about how still can you keep your upper body. So there's a lot of connections from here to here, here to here, and we need to look at what works and what doesn't work, and strengthening what needs to be still, and then strengthening what needs to move as well. So
instead of lifting big heavy weights, doing some...
There's a little bit of that to it, but
some boring stuff.
It's not always the all singing, all dancing exercises that you need to do. Sometimes it is just literally kind of looking at what hurts when you're in a certain position, finding a middle ground between the most aero position and the most efficient position in terms of power.
Yeah.
Looking at how you can get your power up, but if you can't maintain a position, then that's going to cost you as well.
Yes. If you got this far, it's only fair to let you know how the session went, what we found. It was good. Like I said, we spent probably an hour and 45 minutes finding close to bugger all, which for me, running the session was pretty tough because obviously Jonny's invested in himself here and entrusted me to help him find some gains, which honestly I was struggling to find. We were struggling to find. Yeah, the helmets there was nothing that stood, like I said, the POC and the Specialized were the best, but the differences were small, nothing groundbreaking. Then we went higher, was slower, so that's an easy one. Then we went lower, but lower involves quite more extreme changes to position, which is, that's not easy. Then there's more investment from Martin in how to hold that. But then the two big wins was the bladder down the front, and that is a free win. It costs you nothing, but obviously it doesn't apply to UCI racing or an hour record. The other big win was a 25-degree shim angle on the front, which within the UCI rules Jonny has got room to do, so that was a win. Luckily narrow elbows wasn't. Now what we do have to look at though, which is where I say more questions than answers, we went more angled, but upon looking at the layovers side by side, that actually dropped Jonny's height quite a bit. Now we went down 20 millimeters, then we went 25-degree angle, but what that did is dropped out Jonny's elbow and his overall height another 20 or 30 mils. So the next test would have been to come up 20 or 30 mils to see if the difference was caused by the change in arm angle or the change in overall height. With a wind tunnel, it doesn't matter if you've got 2 hours, 4 hours, or all day. You fill it, and then you still leave with questions. There's a good thing with not finding stuff early on. In an ideal world, you'd just be finding a percent here, 2%, 3%, and you add it all up and you found a lot. But You remove a lot of the questions that you have when you're out in the wilderness trying to work out what's faster by yourself. You're like, well, should I buy this helmet? Should I buy this helmet? Should I buy this helmet? That's information Jonny now has and owns. And the same with, should I go lower? Should I go higher? Some people higher is faster. Should I shrug? Should I not shrug? And the shrug on Jonny was better, but not by much. So that's also worth noting. This is all armed with information then to take into racing. So what followed this was I put all the information into a PDF, sent it to Jonny. Jonny's since liaised with Martin, worked on an S&C plan, and we're on our way. We're well on our way to another, we've trained for a few months now and hit some goals, and then maybe revisit the tunnel to try and refine things again. Maybe not, maybe outdoor testing, who knows. But that was, and for me personally, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It's something I do want to do more of. Not to advertise, but if you want wind tunnel testing, I can do that. I now can do that.